Welcome back to part 2 of testing your skills for building this SolidWorks assembly. Now what we want to do is insert the component sleeve and place a sleeve on each end of this axle. Let me go to the completed assembly so you know exactly what I am referring to. Notice the first sleeve and the second sleeve, and they are mated flush with the 5-hole plates. Now, instead of simply inserting the sleeves and applying the mates, let's try to do it through windows and smart mates. That's a lesson that we covered a while back. In order to create the windows, we need to first open the sleeve part file and then select the Windows drop-down menu and tile vertically. Now, this middle window here is my completed assembly. I am going to disregard that and simply expand the two windows, the part file of the sleeve and the assembly we are working on. So once you have these windows up on your screen, try to use a smart mates and apply the sleeve to each end of the axle. So go ahead and pause the video and give that a try. Now let's see how you did. I am going to zoom in on this area so it's easier to see. To apply the smart mate, I am going to select this circular edge, hold down the left mouse button, and I'm going to drag it until I receive the proper graphic and release the left mouse button. And the two mates are applied. In fact, if I expand the mates, you will see the concentric mate and the coincident mate. We'll rotate the model, and let's do the same for this side. Once again, pretty easy. So now let's expand the assembly we are working in, fit it to the screen, and move on to the upper portion of this assembly. Let's go back to the finished model and take a look at what we need to do. We need to insert the axle along with two 3-hole plates and two sleeves. And notice in this application, the face of the sleeve and the face of the axle are flush with one another. So once again, pause the video, insert those components, and after you have that completed, return to the video and we will step through it together. Okay, welcome back. I am going to go into the assembly I am working on, and this time I will insert the component axle. I'll position it near the end of the 5-hole plate. This time I am going to use the width mate. And if you recall, that is under Advanced Mates. I'll select the width mate. And once again, we have the two windows. In the width selection, I'll select the outer faces of the 5-hole plate. And for the tab, I'll select the faces of the axle. I'll accept it and then apply a concentric mate. And now the axle is properly mated to the two 5-hole plates. Next, let's insert the 3-hole plates. I'll pin open the property manager. And as long as we're here, let's go ahead and insert the sleeves. And then close out of the Insert Component Property Manager. So I am going to use Smart Mates just to speed up the process. I will hold down the Alt key. I'll select this circular edge and then this circular edge on the 5-hole plate. I'll roll the model. Do the same for the sleeve. Rotate the model. Let's do the same for the opposite side. And the collar. We'll fit it to the screen. Let's rotate these couple components. And once again, we want these two 3-hole plates moving together. So I am going to zoom up and apply a parallel mate. And there we have the completed assembly. Now I want to add a couple angle mates. So if we go back to the completed assembly and we fit this assembly to the screen, let's take a look at the angle between this 5-hole plate and the base plate. In order to do that, we need to expand the mates. And it looks like it's currently suppressed, so I'll unsuppress it. And if I double click in the mate, you see the angle. Let's go to right-hand side view. You see the angle is 30 degrees to this face here. So from the top face of the 5-hole plate to this face of the base plate, we have 30 degrees. So let's give that a try. I'm going to zoom up and then go to my mate. Select the top face of the 5-hole plate, the front face of the base plate. I'll select the angle mate in the property manager and key in a value of 30 degrees. Now my orientation is correct. I did want the 5-hole plates to extend off in this direction. However, if it were not correct, what I would do when I am inside of that mate, I would simply toggle the mate alignment buttons and the flip dimension. And again, there's 4 possibilities there. So you need to play around with this a little bit until you get the result you are looking for. Okay, that's one angle mate applied. Now let's go back to our finished model and take a look at the second angle mate. I'll zoom out. And it looks like our second angle is 65 degrees between the 2 faces. So let's duplicate that. I'll roll the model once again. Go to the Mate Property Manager. Select the bottom face of both of the plates. This time I'll use the pop-up menu. I'll select Angle and key in 65 degrees. Close out of the Property Manager and fit the assembly to the screen. Now, we just worked through completing a simple assembly with a number of different mates. Now, obviously, if you put some thought into this, because this is symmetrical, I could have built or constructed this one side here and then mirrored it to the other side. So that would be another option too. But that gives you some practice and some first-hand experience for how to create a basic assembly.